Apparently I've had a lot to say. They say, Ryan, do you ever log off? I say nope, I just hit post. Scroll back far enough, you'll see a timeline talking back at me. Some say it's too much, some say it's deep. Some just skim, some lose their sleep. Relevant or not, that's up to you. But one thing's true, I talked it through. I've been typing my thoughts into the void. Status after status trying to make noise. So now I'm here doing something new, bringing words to life, letting posts speak to. This is Ryan Reed's Facebook edition. Same old thought, new transmission. I wrote it then, I'll read it now. If you got time, stick around. Screen share on, volume up. Pastor underneath the truth, from the past to right now. Every post gets spoken out loud. Ryan Reeds, yeah, you knew I had a lot to say, now I'm saying it to you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. Again, if you've been following me, you may already understand I'm not the best with technology. And I'm very fortunate that I've had people reach out and offer some help to help me get connected with how to get connected. So I'm waiting on that. That should be coming very soon, so I should get more situated with this stuff. But until then, I'm not going to let perfect get in the way of better. So instead, I'm going to try to jump on here, and hopefully you guys can see everything on my screen. And this is what I call Ryan Reads. I'm Ryan, and I'm going to show you that I can read. So here we go. Let's take a look at some stuff. You see a Caroline Morgan here reacted to a photo that I was tagged in. Let's take a look at that. Looks like it's going to switch me over to my Together We Grow page, though. Let's see if I can keep this music going too. I kind of like that in the background. There we go. Alright, anyway, back to the screen. Alright, so it looks like I posted this one on Maine Rising, and I said, this is Chelsea Stewart. The OCFS, and for those of you who don't know, OCFS stands for Office of Child and Family Services, and I'm talking about here in Maine. Chelsea Stewart is an OCFS caseworker who stood at the very beginning of everything. The frontline worker who helped launch the lie. The one my documentation now proves, step by step. The injustice didn't start in some abstract system. It started with people, and she was one of the first. And now, here she is, watching, engaging, even mocking. Reacting to my post about my visit to DHHS yesterday, then quietly deleting it afterward, hoping to erase the trail. But the truth doesn't disappear because you remove a reaction. You can delete the click, but you can't delete the record, and you can't delete what's coming. This isn't paranoia, this is evidence. Justice is not a threat, it's a timeline. And I'm just a little bit faster than you. So what does that mean? A little bit faster, what I meant by that was, well, she went ahead and reacted to something and then took it away after, whether that was an oopsie, a mistake, or not. Either way, I was a little too fast and I caught it. So I went ahead and I tagged myself here, tagged my CPS accountability movement. I even put Maine DHHS on there. Look at that. And the Office of Family Independence, I guess another name for the Office of Child and Family Services. It's wild these people go by so many different names. But anyway, tag these people, and then this is what I put along with it. That's her, right there, Chelsea Stewart. Now what's this? Let's see, Bex, Ryan Michaels, this you? Ryan Michaels, 26, of Berwick, was charged with aggravated reckless conduct. Mr. Michaels was transported to the York County Jail. Yeah, that absolutely was me. And if anyone follows my story whatsoever, you'll hear me talking about what we call false accusations. All right? And people like this who just automatically think I'm hiding this, pretty interesting to me. Because this is the whole crux of my story. Because anyone can say anything, but you know what you should look up? Is the fact that Ryan Michaels, me, which is now 33 years old, you can look back. There's absolutely nothing I've been charged with because I'm innocent. And that's the power of false accusations. People throw things out, and then it goes into the public arena, and then people get to look at this and say, look, you were arrested. Well, yes I was, and I'm here to talk about that. So, Bex, if you have any specific questions or want to connect with me, feel free, and I'd absolutely love to get into every single detail with you. But I'm glad you brought that up, and now we're talking about it. It's great. All right, Paige, someone said it best yesterday. Get up, go into the office, and dragging people on social media makes you look mentally unstable. Well, Paige, that is your opinion now, isn't it? You could talk to my care team directly and they tell you I'm not mentally unstable. But I'm glad that's something that you want to bring up. So let's talk about this. I've gotten up. I've gone into the office. And do you know what's happened? I was wrongfully no trespassed and called mentally unstable. And the good thing is I have the entire interaction recorded. And we can take a look at whether I was being unstable or not. And the answer is, I was not. But I was speaking truth. And when you speak truth to those who are threatened by it, well, I guess they feel like that's a threat. And that's exactly why we're here talking today. This is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. But you can either hop on my social media, call me mentally unstable, refuse to have a conversation, refuse to look at the receipts, and refuse to act in good faith, or you could be part of the solution. And Paige, I welcome you. Send me a message. Let's talk. If you have any questions, concerns, let's go over every single one of them. I'd be happy to. All right, Scott. This post screams of pretty girl didn't accept my flirt's energy. Don't quite follow that one. So I guess I'm just going to move on. Dev Eva, stop letting AI write your thoughts. Well, why? Actually, look, we got some more. What did I say? How does AI work, friend? By itself or with my input and thoughts? Thanks for your unsolicited advice, though. So it looks like I gave a little bit of sarcasm. And I did write that without AI. But I don't know about you guys, but how do you think AI does work? AI doesn't just read my mind and spit things out to me. I use it as a tool. You know, and the best way I could say this is once upon a time, I had no idea how to use a power tool, right? How did I learn how to use those power tools? Well, unfortunately, I didn't have anyone in my life that was willing to go over that with me, or knew how. Maybe not willing, but just didn't know, and that's okay. And so I taught myself. How did I do that? Well, I taught myself with YouTube, as I'm sure most homeowners have probably done. If you don't know how to do it, YouTube it, right? We've all heard that. Well, when I pop up YouTube and I learn how to use these tools, I learn how to lay my own floor, I learn how to do my own cabinetry, I learn how to do... Is there someone that comes up to you afterwards and says, hey man, how'd you do that? And I said, YouTube. And then they shame me for it? I don't think so. Well, that's exactly what I'm using AI for. It's a tool. And then people come out of the woodworks to try to shame you for it. It's interesting. So Dev, I've got to ask you, why do you want me to stop using AI? Very, very curious. Oh, well, hold on. Maybe we can get to the bottom of that. Let's read your comment. When you post on a public forum, you open yourself to the thoughts and opinions of others. That is true. When they share their thoughts and opinions, they aren't unsolicited. Okay, fair. Using AI like ChatGPT and others alike store all the information a user shares, and when subject to court request, anything that user has shared will be made public. I hope so, friend. I really do. If you read anything that I say and do, I am all about truth and transparency. I'm all about coming to the table and having a conversation, right? So let's do that. I would willingly give them absolutely everything I have ever said, done, you name it. So I cannot wait for that day. But anyway, let's continue. Keep that in mind since you, friend, are in the midst of a legal case. So thank you. Again, now that's at the forefront of my mind as we're talking about it. And I think that's a great thing. So I appreciate that because like I've always said, truth and transparency are on my side. Secondly, using such to organize your thoughts weakens your ability to do such. Well, I'm glad you said that. I don't know if you've read anything else that I've written, but I've been very open and clear about my 100% disability, as rated by the United States government through the Veterans Affairs Department, okay? And I have more than one disability, and one of my disabilities stems from a traumatic brain injury, okay? Where my brain was hemorrhaging, bleeding, and I had a depressed skull fracture from an assault and a gunshot. Can you believe that? And I'd love to talk more about that, because again, I say these things confidently and openly because I'm innocent and because I want to have the conversation. The conversation that most people don't want to have. Why? Because it comes with truth. And what is truth do to those who've been hiding everything? It threatens them. It's exactly why I'm in the situation I'm in. Anyway, over time, overuse kills authenticity, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that because I'm going to miserably fail. I apologize. Of messages becomes flattened. If you are looking to achieve power in your statements, take time and revise in your own words with your own writing. Well, I just want to let you know, these are my words. This is my writing. And I don't just type one thing in and it comes right out and it's done. It takes a lot of time. But it's a tool I'm using because my mind is exhausted. I haven't seen my kids in almost 2 years, haven't heard their voices, and have been stuck in endless loops of Maine human rights complaint processes, non-disclosure agreements that come along with everything, keeping my voice, guess what, silenced, going through the Department of Justice, going through a court without any lawyer because, God forbid, I'm able to afford a lawyer, because I'm over here being told I owe $45,000 of back pay, which I'm sure now is turned into over $50 because they're tagging on $3,000 a month and half of everything. And I'm unemployed. And I'm asking for them to let me into court and have due process and action. And I'm not saying I don't want to pay anything for support. I want to support my kids. I want to see my kids. I want to be there for my kids. But why aren't I? It's not because of me. So anyway. If you were looking to... No, I already read that. I'm not saying not to use AI at all. I'm saying that the power of your message is being lost when it's scripted like a prompt response from ChatGPT. Okay, well that's not how I felt when I was reading what you were saying, but I'm going to respect that that's your intent. So I appreciate your feedback, but I guess my answer to you is I'm going to continue to use it because that's a tool that I have found success with. It makes my life easier, and that's where I'm at. And I'm a person that's about meeting people where they're at. And if you had to use your brain as much as I have to survive, then maybe you'd understand a little more as to why it's been a tool that's been very helpful for me. When you go to the gym and you're doing arm day, for example, and your arms you push it till failure and it fails, you're not going to want to use that again. You're going to let it rest and recover, right? Well, imagine being my muscle that I'm using, all I have left is my mind. Okay, and I have a traumatic brain injury, and I do suffer from depression and anxiety and PTSD and insomnia. And let me tell you, friends, how would you feel if you were going through the things that I am very articulately, thank you to ChatGPT, explaining all of these things to you? It's hard. It's extremely hard. And my brain is a muscle like anything else that I'm having to use over and over and over again in survival mode with seemingly no end in sight. And I say that seemingly because that's what happens when the government ignores you, gaslights you, stonewalls you. But here I am, not giving up, moving forward. So I welcome all of you. I appreciate the feedback, but we can be part of the problem or we can be part of the solution. And I welcome the latter to everybody. Wow, someone tries to help you and your replies are 100% totally and completely sarcastic. Your intent is showing, sir. And I'll be honest with you, Bex. I actually see where you're coming from more so than not. Because I just read through this and I felt myself pretty offended up until I got to the end. And isn't that weird how text works, right? So I'll humble myself and understand that I can take things a certain way that isn't necessarily how they intended it. And guess what? That's exactly why I'm here, so I guess that is a little ironic. But I guess what I would ask you, Bex, is to have a little empathy and understanding, right? And maybe if you read even, and maybe you have, a fraction of what it is I've been telling people, then you'd understand just how difficult the situation is. It's very easy to critique. It's very easy to give someone a hard time. But I ask that we show up for people exactly where they're at when they're there. Ryan Michaels, assisting someone who is so invested in their present situation that may be missing the bigger picture. I do remember reading this the other day. Obviously, I didn't get back to it, but I do see this in a different light. So I'm going to actually go ahead and comment. Why won't it let me comment on here? Well, then I'll reach out to you after. Would like to, because again, if you're honestly helping me, trying to help, I appreciate that. It's hard to see that when you have so many people, you know, dragging you through the mud like this, not wanting to listen to you, you know? Like any one of these things that we're seeing. A crumb of context would be awesome to hear that. Looks like, again, I'm exhausted. I mean, this has been almost 2 years. I've been saying this every day. Everyone complains about how much I'm saying online and what imagines that doesn't take much effort or that's not exhausting to have to do every day. It is. So for anyone out there who wants context, I welcome them. www.letsgetgrowing.org/justice for families. Good place to start. James, what the heck am I talking about? Well, I would refer you right back to here. letsgetgrowing.org/justice for families. Oh, look at that. That's exactly what I did. Well, I haven't heard back from you. It's been 3 days, so I'm curious if you had a chance to look. Let me know your thoughts if you did, James. I'm glad you were quick on that. Keep gathering evidence. And I said I have enough evidence to confidently say the Department of Health and Human Services will finally be held accountable this year. Hang tight, justice is coming. Oh look, comments have been turned off in this post, that's why I can't comment. Why? Why does that happen? Maybe it was a group setting. Silencing, love it. Let's take a break. I'm gonna grab some water and we'll hop on to the next one.
Yeah, apparently I've had a lot to say. They say, Ryan, do you ever log off? I say nope, I just hit post. Scroll back far enough, you'll see a timeline talking back at me. Some say it's too much, some say it's deep. Some just skim, some lose their sleep. Relevant or not, that's up to you. But one thing's true, I talked it through. I've been typing my thoughts into the void. Status after status trying to make noise. So now I'm here doing something